Discover solutions to issues that affect your family and professional life with practical information to help you get past life's adversities. Take a proactive approach to power up your life with Rosalie's expert resources.
Tired of your mundane exercise routine and enjoy being active outdoors? Lucky for you, a new fitness program that trains like our troops all year round has our vets teamed up with Coca-Cola and the National Recreation and Park Association to create Troops for Fitness program. And here in Miami, U.S. military veterans are running boot camp style fitness programs. Joining us this morning is Laura Ortez, a passionate and inspiring lead instructor for the Miami program. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning.
Laura, as a U.S. Army National Guard veteran and below-the-knee amputee, why did you get involved in the Troops for Fitness program?
Well, from my personal experience, I can tell you that being active and staying healthy in a lifestyle like mine is just crucial. And so when Troops for Fitness came around and the Coca-Cola Foundation, in collaboration with the NRPA, decided to bring this program to Miami as well as 12 other cities, I just wanted to be a part of it. And so ideally, it's kind of a win-win situation because they give us veterans employment, and then we get to get people active. And so it doesn't matter what level of fitness or what age group, there's something for everyone. Right?
And what can they expect when they come out to the Troops for Fitness program?
It could be Zumba, it could be Tai Chi, it could be yoga, it could be the outdoor fitness zones that we have at some of our parks, like the one behind me. It could be running, it could be walking. The idea is just to start doing something, right? Clearly we have all the reasons why we don't, and so they can be time, they could be cost, they could be the commitment, the level of commitment that you have. Stretching, can be something to keep flexible and to just keep free from injuries. And some of the things that come to mind could be a bear hug, so where you crossed your arms and you just put a little pressure into the bend of the elbow. You can come across the body and just put some pressure at the end of the elbow, open and close. You could do the opposite. So ideally it's to not create imbalances, and you want to do the same thing to both sides. We can start on the hip rotation, so notice that my shoulders are straight, my pelvis is tilted in, and I have equal amount of space or distance between my shoulders on the feet. And then I'm going to rotate in one direction. You can place your hands behind your back for balance, and then you would go the opposite direction. Obviously things are cracking and popping here because it is morning and this is the first motion of any exercise that I'm doing. Progression right underneath the knees. Also dealing with balance, flexibility, dynamic exercises. You can go into an actual modified jumping jack. You can go into a side lunge, finding balance, and then bringing and shifting the weight to the opposite side. And the progression would be, of course, any type of body weight exercises, be it sit-ups, push-ups, lunges, anything before you start adding any kind of weight. You want to just feel grounded and safe.
And what tips can you share with our viewers who are just starting out on their fitness journey?
Ideally, you would just want to focus on what it is that you enjoy and then kind of keep it basic. And as you challenge yourself and you get stronger, then you can set other goals. And so those goals need to be attainable, measurable, and realistic.
So Laura, where can our viewers learn more about the Troops for Fitness program?
Sure. So if you want to find out more about Troops for Fitness, you can go to nrpa.org/Troops for Fitness and find out wherever classes are being held in your city. And get involved. Come out and join us and have fun.
Wish I could be there and join in the fun.
Next time.
Thanks, Laura, for helping to inspire our viewers to achieve their fitness goals and get healthier and stronger.
My pleasure.
Did you ever wonder how Hollywood actresses begin to prepare for those glamorous looks that they have on awards night? From working out to spray tans, the incredible dresses, the shoes, the jewelry, the hair, and let's not forget the glowing skin to make that dramatic entrance into an event. And then the photos live on forever. Here to reveal how he gets his celebrity clients rejuvenated during awards season and beyond is Dr. Raj Chopra. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Like athletes, celebrities need to give lots of time and energy to staying in shape and looking their best. So how far in advance do celebrities need to prepare for those big award evenings?
We start preparing celebrities months and months ahead of these award shows to get them ready for the red carpet. Typically we start with surgical procedures, more aggressive laser procedures, maybe 6 months to a year ahead of time. And as the event gets closer, we start moving into more of the non-surgical options, such as injectable fillers, Botox cosmetic, things of that nature.
And none of us who are watching these stars on camera have any idea of what's going on behind the scenes.
You know, we work diligently, we do small things very frequently so these celebrities do not see dramatic change. We want to make it look like they've never visited our office, that they were born that way. And that's the fun of these injectables. We're able to provide such great value, not only for celebrity patients, but for the typical soccer mom to look their best. These injectables provide so much value. They last a significant amount of time, so they've become very, very popular. There's a new product called Jude LYMPHOMA XC that was recently FDA approved, that's designed to correct volume loss in the cheek. And as we age, the cheek deflates, skin falls downwards. And so the goal to Voluma would be to add volume back into the cheek, creating more youthful contours to the cheek, and also lifting that skin and soft tissue that fell down back up again, rejuvenating the entire cheek area and lower face. So it's really exciting. These products provide long-lasting benefit up to 2 years with a quick office visit, typically lasting maybe 15-20 minutes. So you can see why they're very popular. Voluma, as I just discussed, is a great product to treat the mid-face, the cheek area, not only to create, again, youthful contours, but also lifting that soft tissue that fell down back up again. And lastly, around the mouth, we tend to use more of what we call dermal fillers, Juvenum Ultra XC, Juvenum Ultra Plus XC, to literally smooth away some of the parenthesis lines that go around our mouth, some of the wrinkles near our nose, things of that nature. All these procedures are, like I'm saying, quick office visits, really little downtime, provide great value and duration.
So doctor, where can our viewers learn more on how to target the areas that they would like to improve?
The best place to go is the website, www.juvederm.com.
Thank you, Dr. Chopra, for sharing some of the celebrities' beauty tricks that will enhance our viewers' beauty right here in Florida.
Thank you for having me.
Every 3 minutes, someone in the U.S. is diagnosed with a blood cancer. There's over 1.1 million people living with or in remission from a blood cancer in the U.S. And thanks to breakthrough research in the past 65 years and over $1 billion to advance cancer therapies to save lives, blood cancer patient survival rates have doubled, tripled, and quadrupled. Here to discuss the mission to find cures for blood cancers is Dr. Louis DeGennaro, Chief Mission Officer and Interim President and CEO of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and Chip Eston, who plays Deacon Claiborne on the ABC series Nashville. He joins us to share his daughter Addie's journey back to health and his family's commitment to raise awareness to find cures for blood cancer. Good morning to both of you, gentlemen.
Good morning, Rose.
Good morning.
Doctor, what are blood cancers? And what's the distinction between blood cancers and other cancers?
Blood cancers are, of course, cancers that affect the blood. They affect the bone marrow, the cells of the blood, red blood cells, white blood cells, and the lymph nodes as well. One of the most important distinctions between the blood cancers and other cancers is that there's no method for early detection. There's no screening method. There isn't a mammogram for multiple myeloma. There isn't a PSA test for leukemia. Patients present with a full-blown disease and they need to be treated almost immediately.
So what makes the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society different from other cancer and health nonprofits?
We're focused on cures, Rose, and we're focused on having an impact today. You mentioned in your opening, in the 65 years of our existence, we've invested over $1 billion in finding new therapies. It's had significant impact. The creation of combination chemotherapy, the technology for stem cell, bone marrow and stem cell transplantation, new targeted therapies that attack the cancer and leave normal cells of the body alone. And last year, a breakthrough that was called out as the scientific breakthrough of the year, something called immunotherapy, where the patient's own immune system is reprogrammed to find and attack and eliminate the cancer. The Society's research funding, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's research funding, has had a major impact on the discovery and or development of every therapy currently used to treat the blood cancers.
Chip, tell us about the day that you and your wife learned about your daughter Addie's leukemia diagnosis.
Well, my wife Patty and I have 3 children. Addie is our youngest, and about 12 and a half years ago, she was 2.5, and she was not bouncing back from a small procedure she had that was unrelated. She wasn't bouncing back the way that children do. They tend to be very strong. She was staying pale. She was very listless and weak, and that wasn't like her at all. And she had little dots all over her, which we later found out are called petechia. And some of these led my doctor to, or her doctor actually, to give her a blood test and then to get us on into Cedars-Sinai, where after about a day of further testing, they came to me and brought me out of the room where my family was, all my kids were little in there, and they were coloring with Addie and just trying to keep her happy. And the doctor said, well, yes, it is leukemia. And in the very next breath, she said, and here's what we're going to do. What they were going to do was the chemotherapy that ultimately saved her life. And what we know very well is that that chemotherapy, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from research, and that research came from funding. And that's why we're so committed as a family to be part of the LLS family and to try to spread awareness so that others, when they get that diagnosis, might know that they're not alone and that there is hope. When I was a child, it was a virtual death sentence. By the time my daughter was diagnosed, they gave us 85% as the survival rate at that point. It's gone up even since then, but it's not high enough. Dr. Lou was sharing some of the statistics that it is still a long way to go. So that's why we're here today, and we thank you for having us.
So how has your daughter's battle with blood cancer changed your family's outlook on life?
Well, you're right to think that it has, because you'd be amazed at the things that fall away, the things you thought were so very, very important the day before that are utterly meaningless and unimportant the day after. We try to stay in that place of remembering what's important. At the time, I remember my prayer just came down to a simple one, that I wanted to dance with her at her wedding. And she's not there yet. She's a freshman in high school, but we have every chance to think that we might get to, thanks to LLS and all the work done by people like Dr. Lou.
So where can our viewers learn more about the treatments for blood cancers?
One of the best places to go is our website, lls.org, lls.org. You can find information about these diseases, about the development of new therapies, and how you can get involved in fundraising and in supporting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Thank you, Dr. DeGennaro and Chip, for sharing the mission of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to find cures to save lives from blood cancers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cancer is the leading cause of death from disease in children under age 14, and 16,000 children will be diagnosed with cancer in the U.S. this year. For over 50 years, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital has changed the way the world understands, treats, and defeats childhood cancer, pushing their survival rate from 20% to 80%. and St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital won't stop until no child dies from cancer. Joining us this morning is Richard Sadiak Jr., President and CEO of LSAC, the Awareness and Fundraising Organization for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and cancer survivor Miguel, whose St. Jude's doctors used innovative treatments to save his life as well as his leg. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So Rick, may I start with you? What is the state of childhood cancer in America today?
Well, Rosalie, we've made remarkable progress. As you indicated, when we opened our doors, the survival rate was only 20% for pediatric cancer, and today it's over 80%. But consider that 1 in 5 children diagnosed with pediatric cancer today still will die. And that's completely unacceptable. And that's why St. Jude Children's Research Hospital leads the fight against that dreaded disease.
Tell us what it's like for a family who comes to St. Jude's dealing with a loved one suffering with childhood cancer.
First of all, at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we treat the whole family. So when a child has cancer, really the entire family is affected. And we want to make sure that we take care of the entire family. At St. Jude, we take care of everything. So regardless of where they come from, if they came from the Miami, Florida area, we would fly them to St. Jude. We triage them. We take care of all of their medical expenses. We house them. We feed them. We even have a school for our kids. We want our families to have an environment where they're going to thrive and where they can focus on one thing, getting their child better.
Miguel, tell us about your life experience and how your family dealt with your childhood cancer.
Well, it was completely life-changing. I was just a healthy boy from Dominican Republic and playing sports. And then all of a sudden, I was diagnosed with cancer, with osteosarcoma, which is a malignant bone cancer, and my life changed.
So Miguel, how did your family get involved with St. Jude?
Well, at the beginning, we didn't know what to do. We were hopeless. We just praying to get the best. So then we fly to the United States, trying to find a place to get the treatment that I needed. But all the doctors said the treatment will cost more than $200,000. And we didn't have that money because we were from another country. So we went back to the Dominican Republic. And thanks to the international outreach program that St. Jude has, which I'm in love with, they referred me to St. Jude, and they said, you don't have to worry about anything. You have been accepted at St. Jude.
And how has St. Jude changed your life forever?
Well, in a really positive way, in a dramatic way. I never thought that I would be living in the United States, that I was traveling to the United States, and neither to get treatment like cancer. It is really life-changing in meanings of it's catastrophic as the illness is, but also really meaningful because I had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people here, and they treat me. They saved my leg as well, where I had the cancer, and also they saved my life. I am still connected to the hospital. As a matter of fact, I'm working here at LSAC now. Yes.
So Rick, what are some of the advances that St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital is making today to fight against childhood cancer?
We are leading the way in researching the disease. For instance, we embarked upon the Pediatric Cancer Genome Project, which is the largest study of the pediatric cancer genome, trying to understand what causes pediatric cancer. We also recently have invested in a piece of equipment called a proton beam, which will be the only proton therapy center dedicated solely to kids in America. This is a $65 million piece of equipment that can deliver protons in a pencil beam fashion and can be programmed so that that beam will actually stop at the point of the tumor, giving our kids not only a chance at survival, but also at a good quality of life. And we're going to continue to do research projects that nobody else is going to do because of the generous support of the public.
Thank you, Rick and Miguel, for creating awareness this morning of the innovative treatments to fight childhood cancer and to save lives at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Thank you, Rosalie.
Thank you.
Prostate cancer is the second most common cancer among men in the world, and the second leading cause of death from cancer among American men. About 1 in 20 men will have prostate cancer that advances at the time of diagnosis. Here to discuss the changing symptoms and warning signs that the disease is progressing is Dr. William O., Chief of the Division of Hematology and Medical Oncology at Mount Sinai, and Jan Mannerwright, Advocate and Senior Education Facilitator at the Prostate Cancer Research Institute. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Doctor, what's the impact of prostate cancer on men in the U.S. and the advancement of this disease?
Well, as you quoted the statistics, prostate cancer is a very common cancer. It's the #1 cancer in men in the United States. But something that's very important to remember is that it does cause quite a bit of suffering and death. It's the second leading cause of cancer death in men in the United States. And unfortunately, it progresses by spreading to places like the bone. And when it spreads to bone, it can cause quite a lot of pain and suffering. So the key is really first to try to prevent it from really spreading by diagnosing it as early as possible. But one important thing to recognize is that even if it does spread, that there are many new and exciting treatments that have been discovered over the past 3 years, really 6 new treatments approved by the FDA to treat advanced prostate cancer.
So what symptoms should a patient or a caregiver be aware of?
So prostate cancer really has primarily bone pain associated with it when it develops into advanced disease. And that's because prostate cancer spreads to bone about 90% of the time. It can also cause blockage of urinary symptoms so that somebody might have to urinate more frequently. Now, most men who actually have to urinate more frequently do not have prostate cancer, but if you do have those symptoms, it's important to check with your doctor.
So Jan, what inspired you to become an advocate at the Prostate Cancer Research Institute?
Well, I have to say that Prostate Cancer Research Institute inspired me first because we started this journey my husband's disease was very advanced. People who understand PSA will, be shocked to know that his PSA was over 7,000 initially, and he had a lot of bone metastasis. So PCRI helped us and inspired us and then offered me a job. So that's how it evolved.
So Jan, as a wife and caregiver, did you notice any symptoms and changes in your husband?
I mean, I did, but he was your typical stubborn man, just to be clear. And he had some back pain that he associated to his fishing and shelling charters that he was doing on Sanibel and being in his 50s. And he just was not going to go to the doctor. So that's part of the reason that he was so advanced when he was diagnosed.
So doctor, what treatment options are available to address a more advanced prostate cancer?
Well, for many years, we've had hormonal therapy to treat advanced prostate cancer, but after a couple of years, hormonal therapy stops working. Over the past 3 years, 6 new treatments have been approved by the FDA because they both improve the quality of life and also extend survival in advanced prostate cancer. And these treatments work by different mechanisms. Some of them block hormones more effectively. Some of them work by manipulating the immune system, and some of them work by really going right to the bone and using radioactivity to kill cancer cells in the bone that have deposited into the bone.
So Jan, where can our viewers find more support for the patient and the caregiver's needs?
Our website, this is what we do at PCRI, is patient empowerment and shared decision making. You can go to pcri.org. There's a lot of information there.
Thank you, Dr. O and Jan, for joining us this morning to create more awareness for advanced prostate cancer. And thank you, Jan, for sharing your personal story.
Thank you.
The flu can be severe for adults over 65, weakening their immune system and making it harder to fight disease. Older adults account for 60% of all flu-related hospitalizations and 90% of flu-related deaths. Here to discuss the importance of annual flu vaccinations to protect against the flu is Emmy and Tony Award-winning actress Judith Light and Dr. Albert Trillian, Senior Director of Clinical and Community Partnerships and Director of the Self-Management Alliance at the National Council on Aging. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning to you.
So Judith, if you're turning 65, that means you need more protection from the flu.
If you're 65 and older, what happens is that the immune system begins to weaken as we age. Makes it much harder to fight disease. And most people know that, but they don't know, what they are not aware of, and I was not aware of this, is that there is a higher dose vaccine for people who are 65 and older.
The higher dose vaccination allows the body to produce more antibodies, which helps a lessened or a weakened immune system fight the flu virus much more effectively. And those over the age of 65 have to consider this higher dose because of the different things that are happening in their lives. We know that 2/3 of older adults have multiple chronic conditions, diabetes, COPD, heart disease, and getting the flu can really complicate these diseases. It's important to have that conversation with your healthcare provider and to make sure that you make the right decision with a standard dose vaccine or a higher dose vaccine.
So Dr. Trillian, why is it so important to understand the different vaccine options?
I think the important part is that the CDC and other health experts recommend that you get vaccinated once a year at the beginning of the flu season to help protect yourselves against these new strains that come out every year. The important thing is to have that conversation and to make that wise decision to see what's best for you.
So does the CDC create new vaccine variations each year to address the seriousness of the virus?
Yes, they do. In fact, the different viruses that come out every year, there's a pretty impressive infrastructure that helps gauge what that virus is and then create the proper flu vaccines, including a standard dose and that higher dose, to help protect people. They are safe and effective, and they are the best way that we can, the best steps that we can take to help not get the flu.
So the public needs to know that the vaccines address the present flu season virus.
That's correct, that the flu vaccines that we have now are made to address the flu virus that's coming up with this upcoming flu season. And as Jude said, I think it's important to get your flu vaccine sooner rather than later to give your body a chance to create those antibodies to protect yourself against that virus.
Thank you, Dr. and Judith, for joining us this morning to create awareness of how to protect you and your loved ones from the upcoming flu season.
And thank you.
Thank you.
All of us need to be proactive to stay healthy and feel good to keep our health. Make time to find your inspiration through an exercise program that motivates you, so that you can look in the mirror and feel more radiant and confident. Care for you and yours by eating healthy and monitoring any changes in your health. So be vigilant and observe health changes in you and those you love. And share any concerning symptoms that you see or feel with your doctor. Share with us how you observe any health changes that you or a loved one are experiencing at facebook.com/Rosalie or visit us at rosaliearchershow.com. And take care of you and yours, and we will see you soon.